Hi, it's Rich Tarani. Thanks for watching Editor's Day 2015 Santa Clara. On our program is Drew Sproul with Adax. And Drew, welcome.
Thanks very much, Rich. Good pleasure to be here.
Really, we're thrilled to have you. Your company's been a longtime player in the carrier infrastructure market, and there's just so much going on there. And I figured I'd let you give us the 30-second overview of just your organization today.
Okay. Well, Adax has been in the telecom service provider business, providing solutions, particularly in signaling, to telecom OEMs for 30 years. Our new tagline for 2016 is Legacy to LTE, playing on our background in Signaling System 7, which is somewhat surprisingly experiencing a resurgence in our marketplace, and then also, providing new LTE EPC platforms for a variety of marketplaces.
And the other interesting thing now is that all of the things that you've done in hardware for the last 30 years now, there's this push to NFV to bring them over to a virtualized environment.
That's absolutely true. And if you don't have a story about NFV today, it's seen as a deficit. Our background in hardware, as you said, leads us to believe that no software solution, rides without hardware. So you always have to have hardware involved. My tendency is to go a little bit technical on you, Rich, with regard to DPDK, which is our primary competitor. But, a software-only solution needs special libraries. You're dedicating core Intel processor cores to a specific function. You have specific drivers that have to connect to specific Ethernet cards today in order to accomplish a quote-unquote software-only solution. So as you can see, I've got a bias towards what's considered legacy NPUs, which I think is really by no means quite the case yet.
The benefit, in theory, though, of an NFV environment is the ability to mix and match because of the open systems hardware. Where do you come down on that?
Good question. The NFV architecture, which to me is a very sophisticated, multi-layered management architecture. So separating out the hardware layer from the VNF application layer, connecting that to the work orders through the mono, I think is a fabulous advance, for telecommunications architecture. It'll do all the things eventually that are promised in terms of flexibility. My horse in this race, as it were, is, what's the best underlying hardware platform to accomplish certain tasks. And we believe that there are, security tasks, DPI tasks that can be accomplished through dedicated hardware that can be managed through NFV. So,
okay, that makes sense. That's a good answer. Fantastic. So, what are other than what we just discussed? What are some of the reasons that your customers are choosing your company versus competitive solutions in the market?
Good question too. With regard to the legacy. So when we talk about legacy to LTE, Adax is a well-established, well-respected player in telecom infrastructure. And there's consolidation in the industry. I can, name 2 or 3 of our competitors that have either been acquired, lock, stock, and barrel by their largest OEMs, acquired by other companies. A lot of consolidation in the marketplace. And our customers, whereas we used to supply our cards to any and every stack above us, Verizon, Trillium, AT&T, Ericsson, they're now coming to us and asking us to provide a full service stack. So we're able to offer customers a path to consolidation of modernizing their telecom I/O, if you will, in SS7 and SIGTRAN, and continue to offer those reliable signaling platforms today.
That's great. Now, we've seen a tremendous amount of advancement on the endpoints, right? So from the time that you started, you had the dumb telephones, and they were rotary, and now we've got smartphones that are the equivalent of a decades-old supercomputer. How has that advancement altered what's happening with your organization, the products you're making, like, for example, signaling in the network, things like that? What's happening there?
Intelligence, as you say, intelligence at the endpoint forces the migration, encourages the migration of intelligence to the edge. So, it's the Mobile Edge Computing Initiative in 3GPP. Is right along the lines of where our hardware development has taken us. So moving from, dedicated chips to more general purpose, albeit network processor units, we're a Cavium company, gives us a lot of flexibility to add intelligence at the edge to service the intelligent devices, particularly QoS, right? So when a device is maybe, servicing, multiple applications, people want to upsell to, a dedicated pipe for streaming while they're on the move. Intelligence in the network and at every junction in the network, from the smartphone, to the eNode B, back into the EPC and the data plane to say, oh, okay, Rich wants to have high def, and he'll do an upsell. You'll sit in the airport, you're stuck, you want to watch this movie. Oh, and they offer you a $5 upsell for HD streaming. And you go, okay, I'll do that. That requires intelligence throughout the network to deliver that service to you and make money for the carriers.
So basically the answer there that you've given me is that the devices today offer more potential because of the power that they pack.
Exactly, and that's why NFV is so key to delivering those services. The dynamism of configuration, of allocation, reallocation of resources where they're needed, when they're needed, is the promise of NFV, independent of the somewhat, deterministic. The reliability of telecom was based off determinism. And part of determinism out of TDM was that you had dedicated devices that you configured and relied on, and they came through. Well, now we're trying to accomplish that same level of determinism with all the flexibility of packet-based networks. So it all comes together.
It's fantastic. So what's next? Is there any parting thoughts that you want to share with the viewers?
Just it's an exciting time, in the world of EPCs. I was talking to some of the analysts about it, is that, we see like mini MVNOs where your shopping mall will be able to tailor your shopping experience to your needs as you come into the mall, and that the EPC, the core, will actually become as much of a PBX type commodity, as it is today in enterprise.
Fantastic. Thanks for being here, and congrats on the 30 years.
Thank you.